It's Randi on the road, and today we're at Founders downtown, and we're speaking with a guest that I just met yesterday, and he's the co-founder of Impact 52. Aaron Brown is here with me, and he's going to tell you how his life changed for the better, not just for him, but for other people. Aaron, tell us about Impact 52 and how this all was born.
Okay, well, Impact 52 is a service project where my family and I volunteer with a different nonprofit organization or cause every week. The idea is that we can inspire other families and other individuals to get involved. And so we use a blog, impact52.org, and social media to share the experiences, the stories, what we've encountered, how it made us feel, while shining a light on nonprofit organizations in our community.
Great. And because I like to do a lot of that too, they're not short in number, are there? There's a lot of things out there that people don't even know about where all of us can help on a regular basis.
Need is everywhere. You know, need lives right next door. Most of us don't open our eyes to see it, but need is right in our own neighborhoods. So, you know, there's a lot of organizations in our community that need help. They need people that are willing to invest time.
But they don't have the money or the resources to go out and ask for it. They just have to count on people like us to kind of bring it to them.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the size of the organization. Some organizations are very good about advertising and marketing and letting people know about the need and what they do. Other organizations maybe aren't as fortunate. They don't have a large staff. They don't have the people to be able to do it. So that's one of the things that we try to do by shining the light on these organizations. We always link to their website. We're really trying to be advocates for these organizations in the hopes that we can recruit volunteers for them.
Great. And that's exactly what this show is always about. We try to do nonprofits, and we try to bring attention to maybe community projects and things that are going on here that nobody even knows about, like Founders. We're sitting in Founders right now, which is a free co-working space with free Wi-Fi right here in downtown. And I know you've worked here before too.
Absolutely, it's a great location. What's really awesome about it is that you just meet so many great people who have great minds. They're entrepreneurs, they're constantly thinking. So if you have an idea, there's a real good chance you're sitting next to someone who might be able to help you take that idea and really put it into something. So,
and some of the things that we don't necessarily have at home, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, when you're sitting at a desk at home and it's just you you don't have that person that maybe you could, and you build relationships and friendships through co-working.
Well, tell me about your family. How many kids?
I have two kids. So, my wife, Erica. I have two daughters, Kelsey, who's 14, and McKenna, who's 12. Okay. And, really the reason we started this project was one, we felt like we wanted to make an impact in the community. We felt like we had skills, we had time, we had things that we could give. But Eric and I really wanted to teach our girls about volunteerism and service. We live in a me world where, it's always about us. And so we really want our girls to learn those values, that the world is so much larger than me. Yes. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we hope that we could, show that a family serving together, how easy it is for other families to get involved. And so my children have embraced it. My wife has embraced it. I mean, it truly is a family project where we have a lot of open discussion about the lessons that we've learned, the things that we've seen, and I've watched my children grow into, just unbelievable young ladies.
But that's the triple or the double win. Oh, sure. Because not only did they get to see something different, and you're right, they are making a difference. Right. But it's also the impact that they're having on someone else that will never go away. Oh, sure. I know as a youth leader that I found that we didn't necessarily have to take our kids out of the country or even out of the state to help make a difference. That what we're doing right here in the city, we have a lot of people, and the impact on the kids was amazing, not to mention us. It does change you.
Well, it does. And they learn so many lessons, and you're exactly right. I mean, we don't have to get that far outside of your own neighborhood potentially to help. I mean, it's as easy as potentially helping a neighbor who can't, because of health reasons or finance reasons, can't do things at their home. So it's very simple things. It's a living life with purpose and knowing that each and every day we can have a positive impact on people.
Absolutely. Well, and it's such a thrill to know that someone is willing to teach the children, because I think that kids nowadays have almost a sense of entitlement, which is false. Right. And I hate to see our kids going out into the world as they grow up thinking that, because it's not true.
Well, and it's not. And really, if we all really put it in perspective, we are all one catastrophic life event away from needing other people. Yes. And we need children to understand at a young age that, you have to put in the work, and that it pays to care for other people, because at some point you may need those people.
That person. That's exactly right. Well, I know that you this is not your full-time job, so tell us, how did what do you do, and how did you come to this? How was this born?
Well, I was actually brushing my teeth one morning, and my children hate me telling this story because they've heard it so many times, but it's a true story of kind of how it all came about. But I really was just looking in the mirror and was disappointed in the person staring back at me. And even though I was very involved in a lot of organizations, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and been on the board for a number of organizations, I just felt like there was so much more I could be doing. And so in that moment, with my wife, we started talking about, we need to do more. We need to commit the next 52 weeks of our life. That's where the name Impact 52 came from, is, hey, for 52 weeks, we're going to really set out on this journey to really make a difference in the lives of people. And if you fast forward, we've now completed, over 96 weeks of volunteer service with more than 85 organizations. We've reached over 85 countries from a blog standpoint. We've received emails from Norway and India and Barbados, and people who are reading the stories and then sending us notes saying, thank you for sharing that story. I'm inspired to do more. And then we've had those stories of people saying, I'm now volunteering with my children at the food bank every week. Thank you for kind of opening my eyes to how easy it is. So,
and what a blessing to the food bank, or whoever gets these people.
That's our hope. Yeah. That's our hope, is really to show families, individuals, people in general, just how easy it can be to get involved and make the difference in your community. And then we hope that they'll find an organization that's close to them where they can get involved, and we're willing to help them with that. We're willing to help connect them with the right organization, especially locally. We get a lot of emails and calls where people will say, hey, I'm looking to volunteer with my children. Can you recommend some places? Exactly. And so after a few questions, I can usually say, hey, here's some places that we've volunteered with where we had a great experience. If you go to our site, you can find the links to those blog posts and see how it made us feel. And it's really trying to be a conduit to really just make community better.
I am amazed, as I'm sure you are, as we find different situations and different groups that we can help. How did we never know about these before? And they've been here forever, and they're incredible opportunities, not just for us, but to help somebody else. Were you born and raised here? I
was not. I was actually born in Muncie, Indiana. I grew up in a small town of Knightstown, Indiana, which is east of Indianapolis. Okay. And I grew up, it's a small town. I think I graduated maybe with 70, 75 people in my graduating class. But I grew up in a family that was very close, very giving. My family sacrificed a lot for me to be able to play basketball and travel to tournaments. And I can remember my father, I'm 6'9". My father's 6'6". And my mother, we would all get into an S10 truck that was a stick shift, and we'd cram in there, and they'd drive me all over, Midwest to play in basketball tournaments. There was never any complaints. It was always them sacrificing time for me. My grandparents, my brother, so many, elements of my life growing up that people were always there for me. And so those characteristics, those traits, were instilled in me early on, and then, I really have developed that passion over the last few years of just, this is what I'm meant to do. I really need to live life every day to make it better for someone else.
Yes. Well, and I heard one time that I watch people that are so depressed, and it's so easy to get depressed right now. But I remember a pastor saying, you cannot be depressed.
Sure.
If you're helping someone else.
Absolutely. Because
when you're depressed, it's because all of your focus is on yourself and how you feel. And if you ever feel yourself getting like that, just find someone to help, go help them, and immediately it's erased.
Well, it's funny because, my message to my children, kind of the mantra of how I live my life is to be outstanding. Yes. If someone asks me how I'm doing, 99.999% of the time they will get that I'm outstanding, because it's all about attitude and the frame of mind. And no matter what you're going through in your life, that if you keep the right frame of mind and the right attitude, you're able to deal with it. And that helps suppress those feelings of depression and things. And, you know, I want to be the person other people want to be around. I want my children to be the children that other kids want to be around, that teachers want to teach. Because when you become that person, you can have influence. They want to be around you because they want your opinion. They want to hear what you have to say. And then it all starts with that kind of that mantra and that idea of that I'm going to be outstanding no matter how bad things get today. It's not going to get me down. It's not going to let me not be that person.
Well, and you're looking at a Mary Kay sales director, and of course Mary Kay Ash herself was quite a humanitarian, and she always said, whenever someone asks you, you say great. No matter how you feel, you say great, because when you hear yourself say it, you'll be great.
And people are watching.
That's right.
You know, as a father, my children watch. You know, as a business leader, your employees watch. You know, as a community member, people watch. Exactly. They watch a lot more than we think they do. And
you
so
know, it's not what's taught; it's what's caught.
And if you're not in a good mood and not in the right frame of mind, it's very easy for other people to take on that same attitude. You can truly, you know, infect people negatively that way.
Yes. So tell us about maybe one experience that you'd really like to share.
Well, it kind of goes along with what we were just talking about. So every February, the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation has a Random Acts of Kindness week, right? So, wow, what a premise. Let's have a week where we're nice to each other. I mean,
isn't that sad?
Yeah, I mean, it is sad. But it's like, I thought, wow, what a great thing to write about. So each day that particular week, I focused on doing different things. So I sang to the people working the drive-up window at McDonald's. You know, it's a thankless job. I thought, wow, how can I make this a positive interaction and make them smile? So, you know, I bought donuts for construction workers that week. I just did a lot of small things. Well, I was at Speedway gas station. I'm here in town. It was in the evening, and I was paying for my soda, and I thought, I'm just going to pay for the stuff for the couple behind me and maybe the family behind them. So I ended up, it was like $8. And they all looked at me like I had 3 eyes and 4 arms. It's like, what's my ulterior motive? And when I finally kind of convinced them, it's just something I wanted to do. It was an older couple, and they were just buying 2 coffees. So really, I probably only spent a little over $2 on their stuff. They kept thanking me. Thank you, thank you. I mean, we really appreciate it. And of course, I just, it's no big deal. It was a few bucks. So we walked down to the gas station. I sat down in the car, and I'm in my car, and for whatever reason, I hadn't pulled away yet. I might have been tweeting her about the experience or something. And she comes walking back towards the car, almost like she's going to knock on the window. And I roll the window down, and she says, I just want to thank you again. You are a true angel, and there needs to be more people like you. And again, I just kind of dismissed it. It's $2. I mean, thanks. I really appreciate you saying that. You don't need to. I rolled up my window, I pulled away, and went about my business. Now, this was in February. In July, I'm at a different gas station on the other side of Fort Wayne. And I'm getting a soda, and this older gentleman comes walking up to me, probably with the largest smile on his face that I've ever seen. And I'll admit, I didn't recognize him. And I kind of kept looking over my shoulder like I should know him. But I don't. And he came up and he introduced himself. He says, you bought coffee for my wife and I some months ago at Speedway. I said, oh yeah, I remember. I said, wait, you only have 1 coffee. Where's your wife today? He says, I'm actually on my way to see her. She's in the hospital. She's dying of cancer. He says, I'm actually hoping to take her home over the next few days for hospice care. Well, so then he goes on to say, I need you to know something. The day that you bought coffee for us was the same day she was diagnosed with cancer. That morning, we were told she had terminal cancer and there was really nothing that we could do. It was the worst day of our life. And you buying coffee for us that evening gave us hope that that good things could still happen to us. And I know my mouth was on the floor as he's telling me that. And then he went on to say, I can't wait to get to the hospital to tell her that I saw you again. Because I know it'll make her smile. And so here's a woman who's dying, and he thinks that she's going to smile because he ran into a complete stranger who spent $2 on coffee 5 or 6 months ago. So I bought my soda and I went and sat in the car and I cried.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was such an emotional experience to know that that coffee had that impact on them. But then I started.
You realize it wasn't you.
Exactly.
It wasn't you.
But the thing was too is that I started to wonder how many moments have I missed in my life because I was so self-indulged with my own problems, with all of my own things, that I missed those opportunities to connect with people, to hold the door for someone, to make some kind of connection.
Yes.
And that's when I truly learned that there are no small gestures. There are simple gestures. Buying a cup of coffee for someone, holding a door open, those are simple gestures.
But not small by any
But they're not
means.
small because everything we do in our life is filled with this potential impact that we'll never know. We will never know what that random act does and what people are going through. And that moment truly changed my life forever. I mean, I've always felt like I was living with purpose, but in that moment I just felt like, wow,
confirmation.
It's confirmation. And I feel like I was put in that gas station the day they were diagnosed with cancer.
Yes.
I feel like it was meant for me to be there, to hear that story, and to know that, I have to inspire other people to live every day with purpose, knowing that every little thing that you can do can truly have an impact on the life of someone else.
That's the truth. So. And I'm with you. Yeah. The Random Acts of Kindness Week. Right. Why do we not live like that every day? We're told to live like that every day, but we don't. Right. And I think it's because sometimes we're so spoiled and we don't realize it. We have so much and we don't realize that we take advantage of it.
We don't have perspective.
No, we don't.
We really don't. Most of us don't. And I'll be the first to admit, 3 years ago, I didn't have perspective. Yeah. I had a corporate job. I was an executive. I had dreams of being in a corporate office. I wanted the biggest house and the cars, and I wanted everything that I ever wanted. And today,
totally irrelevant.
My priorities are completely different.
Yes. Well, praise God.
So it's having perspective. I'm not an expert on any of the social issues that we deal with in our volunteer work, but I have perspective. It's given me a new perspective and on what truly is important in life.
Yes. Everything changes. Well, I want to thank you so much for being a conduit right here in the city.
Thank you.
May your blog just be spread out to the city so that people can literally start to change their lives through your example, because nobody will change more than them.
Well, and I appreciate that. We want to create an epidemic of giving.
There you go.
We don't hear the word epidemic used in a positive sense very often.
You're right.
Right? There's a drug epidemic. There's a flu epidemic. We want to create an epidemic, a virus of giving that spreads from person to person, that infects everyone that it touches. Just think about the world we live in. If everyone gave a little bit more today than they did yesterday, and tomorrow we were trying to give a little bit more of ourselves than we were today.
Well, and you're not obviously just doing that here, you're doing that internationally just because you're sharing. And thank you for sharing like that.
Surprising. We don't know how we reach people. We don't know how people in those countries find the blog, but what it's proof of is that people want to hear positive stories. And our journey of giving has truly been a journey of receiving. And the lessons we've learned have changed our lives forever. And so now our mission is, how do we teach those lessons to other people, especially children?
And I think that's my question. How can we help you as you move forward?
Well, there's a number of ways. Volunteer with us. If someone wants to get involved in an organization and wants to just come volunteer with us, we'll set it up. You can just join us, and you don't have to go through the hassle of finding an organization.
How do we get a hold of you?
Impact52.org is our blog site. Okay. You can contact us that way. Okay. There's also a page that lists every organization that we volunteered with, a link to their website, a link to the blog post we wrote about our experiences with that organization, and a little blurb about what they do. So if someone wants to get involved and they just don't know where to start, they can search that. And if they're looking for an organization that deals with animals, they can find a number of them there that we volunteered with. And then if they want our help connecting with the right person at the organization, we're willing to do that. One other way that people can help us right now is, we've written a children's book about homelessness and really a young girl's self-discovery that all people are people. That homeless people are really no different than her. And we're going to have an ebook, digital book that will be available for iPad and Kindle in mid-April. Okay. And for us, though, to have a true impact with the book like we want, we really need to get hard copies in the hands of children, especially in schools. And so we've launched a Kickstarter campaign to try to raise funds to help us print the first run of books. We've got educational materials that have been developed by educators to have like a teacher's guide or a parent guide to really help open the dialogue with children and parents and teachers about homelessness, about helping people, and about not passing judgment.
Hear, hear.
So,
can we share the title?
Yes, it's Lenny Mae's New Friends.
Okay.
And again, she has the general society stereotypes of homeless people, that they're bums, that they're losers, that they don't want to help themselves. She's mad at her parents largely because they're making her volunteer. She spends a night on the streets helping them with a backpack full of supplies. She meets some interesting people. She hears some intriguing stories. And in the end, she makes a connection that these people are no different than me, that all people are people, and that it's not fair for her. And at the end, she truly kind of looks at those on the street as being her friends, and she can't wait to come back and volunteer again to help them. So that it's just the first book in what we hope to be a series. I mean, I have 14 or 15 titles already written.
So you're ready to go.
I mean, the plan is to write a series of books that we can get into the hands of children.
That impact people.
That impact people, that have lessons.
Yeah.
And it exposes children and adults. Because I truly believe that
That's
adults
what I was gonna say.
who read this book with their children
just the
are going to
children.
get the same lessons.
Thank you.
But it opens eyes to social injustices and some of the social issues that plague our society today, while teaching some very elementary lessons that we've forgotten and that people know. Especially children need to learn this at a young age, especially those that are living in poverty. Those that are living.
And we have so many. I mean, they estimate that 30% of the kids who attend the Fort Wayne community schools are homeless. Sure. That's frightening.
And I've had children. I read this book to a class with just a couple sketches. It was the rough draft, just to kind of see what feedback. Now, mind you, this was a school that's 100% free and reduced lunch.
Okay.
And I had a girl come up to me afterwards wanting to know if my family could help her family because they were homeless.
Wow.
But the conversation that happened about the book, about helping people, about homelessness with these children was far more than I ever expected. And one of our most recent blog posts was by that teacher who has seen her children go from here to here in wanting to help people. They're making cards for teachers. They're making cards for children who are out sick. They've been inspired. They know they can help people. Now, these are children who are typically on the receiving end of the nonprofit help.
Because they didn't know any different.
Well, maybe it's a single mother household and mom's working 2 jobs and she doesn't have time to go volunteer. She doesn't have enough disposable income to really go help make a difference.
Serious impact.
So the children grow up kind of in the victim mentality. They're on the receiving end of nonprofit help. I believe that if they can't see it, they can't be it.
Thank you.
And so we need to empower young children, no matter what their socioeconomic status is. We need to teach those young children that they can change this world and have an impact on this world no matter what their upbringing is.
Awesome.
And that's what we're hoping to do with the books and with the lessons. And so people can help us by making a pledge, $1, $5. They can pledge as much as they want. We have some great rewards. If someone wants to pledge $25, they're going to get an autographed copy of the book when it's printed. But it's a book about community. And what better way to get it hard copies printed than to have the community help us as a family, get these things done. So that's an easy way for people to help us right now.
Well, Aaron, you and your family are making an impact. You're making a difference, not just to your family. And I know that it's fulfilling you.
Sure, absolutely.
But the goosebumps and the God bumps that I got, when we share stories of random acts of kindness, how many of you need to meet somebody like Aaron? How many of you need to be somebody like Aaron? How many of you have sat there and thought, I wish I could make a difference, but I just don't know how? Aaron's just given you an open-ended invitation to contact him and join him, or he'll find some place for you to impact your community in a big way. And I promise you that you'll be impacted just as much. Once again, Aaron Brown Impact 52. Impact52.org. Check it out. Check those links out and find out how you can make a difference in your community today. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Aaron.
for
This has
having me.
been
I appreciate it.
amazing.
Thank you.
Don't stop now. It's awesome.
We've only just begun.
Great.